So happy! We are finally in Nunavut and I want to see all of it!
I'm afraid you're only going to be able to see some of it.
That's better than seeing none of it.
It's pronounced Nunavut.
I know! Don't you think it's so cool that Nunavut is like Canada's newest territory and yet it is so full of tradition?
Hey, do you hear that? Those are doggies! We should travel by a traditional means, dog sled!
Dog sled? Jamie, you know, Iqaluit might be a small city, but it's a pretty modern place. Hey, Jamie! I know a traditional way you can get to town.
What?
You can walk.
Hey! Oh!
I wouldn't have left you. Come on.
You're so funny.
Surprise! Yeah! Where to, buddy?
Downtown, I guess?
Fasten your seatbelts.
In this episode of CG Kids, we check out Canada's Great North by visiting the capital of Nunavut, Iqaluit.
Best friends Alexia Cousins and Jennifer Twerden have us sing for our supper, a traditional caribou supper, that is.
Then we learn the importance of northern wildlife to the Inuit.
In Jay's geology, I figure out what wind chill means.
Good food, good friends, and good gracious, all on this episode of CG Kids.
Geographic Kids.
We are here in the city of Iqaluit, which is the capital of Nunavut. Nunavut is Canada's newest and hugest territory.
Iqaluit means place of many fish in Inuktitut, which is the language of the Inuit. About 6,000 people live in Iqaluit, which makes it the biggest settlement in the territory.
Now, Iqaluit has everything you'd expect from a city of this size. They have movie theaters, restaurants, hotels, office buildings, schools, a college, and the only hospital in all of Nunavut. But even here, in Nunavut's most modern city, there are still reminders that you're in the far north. For one thing, it's freezing outside and it's not even winter yet.
Another reminder is that most of the people living here are Inuit. Nunavut is officially trilingual. That's English, French, and Inuktitut is one of the languages of government. Where are you going?
I am freezing. I'm gonna go get some hot chocolate, but I'm gonna ask for it in all 3 official languages.
But I've just begun talking about Nunavut.
Why don't you let Jay take over? He's all warm and cozy in the Geo Lab. Come on.
Okay, over to you, Jay.
Come on.
It can get pretty cold in Iqaluit. The daily mean temperature is below freezing for 8 months out of the year. In 1 year, Iqaluit can experience a low of minus 28 degrees Celsius and a high in July of only 8 degrees. Iqaluit is located at the southern end of Baffin Island. Even though this massive island is the 5th largest in the world, it's only about 1/4 of Nunavut. The territory covers over 1.9 million square kilometers. That's 1/5 of Canada. But even though it's huge, only 28,000 people live in Nunavut. This makes it the least densely populated part of the inhabited world. Jennifer and Jamie are here in Iqaluit, which is tucked into Frobisher Bay. This community started as a small Inuit fishing camp. Today, ships come and go, making it a transportation hub to other Baffin Island communities. This newer territory was once a part of the Northwest Territories. For decades, the Inuit people of the Eastern and Central Arctic worked to gain the right of self-government over these ancestral homelands. They succeeded in 1999 when Nunavut officially became a separate territory. The elders of the community, Inuit traditions, and the Inuktitut language are an important part of Nunavut's government. No wonder the Inuit call their new territory Nunavut. It means our land.
That is so much better.
You know, things have really changed in the north, I think. I mean, you can find anything you want in Iqaluit. What's the one thing we really need right now?
Well, I wish we had someone that could show us around, you know, a real expert on Iqaluit.
Hey, I'm not an expert, but I can show you around.
Hey, Jen!
Wow! That's magic! Wow! I wish I had $1 million.
So have you lived in Iqaluit your whole life?
Yeah, I've lived here all my life, but I've traveled all around Canada.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We've traveled around Canada too. So do you like living up here?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, why do you love it so much?
Because it's all traditional here, and we're all close together, and everyone knows everyone. There's all different languages.
That's pretty cool.
That's great. Do you ever feel like you're missing out on anything, not being down south?
Yeah, I miss the malls when I'm not there, and the price change is different. It's more expensive here.
Yeah, that's true.
Jennifer took us up the hill overlooking Iqaluit to visit her friend Alexia.
Hi.
How do you do?
She's having us over for a traditional lunch.
Yeah, Alexia,
Yay!
bring us inside. I'm using...
What is that?
It's caribou. The caribou leg.
So, are these ulus?
Mm-hmm. It's a traditional woman's knife that I use for many things.
So, do you actually hunt the caribou?
I go out with my uncle, my dad, and my brother.
So what's that like?
I just realized when I go hunting that my ancestors used to do that to live. So I'm really proud of being Inuit.
What do you do with the caribou once you cut it up in little pieces like that?
You can eat it raw, or you can cook it.
Raw?
I'll try some.
You're gonna try some raw caribou? You're so brave.
Just chew on it?
Yeah.
Jen, you're eating it too? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's good. It's like kind of like beef jerky, but a little more mild. It's yummy.
You don't want any?
No, I don't think I could eat it raw.
I have some cooked stuff in the caribou stew.
Well, then why didn't you say so? Caribou stew. I like my meat cooked. I'm fussy that way. Let's see. Mmm. Good.
What's that?
Jen and Alexia are both part of the school choir. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce the name of it. Exactly what I would have said.
Wow. So we're going inside the Elder Center to meet some of your friends and see some traditional singing, drumming. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
It's
Woo!
chilly out here.
Oh, Canada. The girls of the choir have become Iqaluit's musical ambassadors. They traveled to Ottawa where they performed for the Prime Minister and the Governor General. And they also sang for Queen Elizabeth when she visited Iqaluit. A really cool thing about their choir is that they sing in all three of Nunavut's official languages, Inuktitut, French, and English.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The girls do another amazing and unique form of singing. It's called throat singing.
See, she did what I want.
So the object of it is to basically make each other laugh?
Not to laugh, but to outbeat each other. Like, she started off leading, and I was following. So I tried to make it go faster to throw her off. And because she couldn't catch up, she just started laughing.
In throat singing, you try to make a sound deep in your throat. The sound is made as you exhale, and then you have to quietly inhale and go again.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm loving this.
this. So what is the actual technique to throat singing?
I think the two main techniques are timing and your breathing. The breath you're breathing out, you breathe right back in. So you're not actually taking breaths to breathe, I guess, it's to make different sounds. And the timing, there's always a leader and a follower. So if I lead in the beginning, she might try and take the lead, and I'd follow her. So it's all about the timing. You sound like somebody on Sesame Street. Just look at her like lip or her ear or something. Don't look right into her eyes. But she's funny everywhere.
We weren't very successful with throat singing, so we thought maybe drum dancing was our thing.
Woo! That was great!
So, we found some extra drums. You think we can get involved?
Sure.
Of all the different forms of Inuit music, nothing is more popular than drum dancing. It is always played a part in every gathering, from celebrating birth, marriage, changing of the seasons, a successful hunt, to honoring someone who has died. Or as a greeting for visitors like us.
So after I say hut, we hit the drum 4 more times, then we stop. Hut!
Jamie did it once too long.
Oh, you!
I did it perfect.
We are standing on the shores of Frobisher Bay, and do you know what time it is?
It's time to go swimming!
No! No!
It's triviography time! And the question is, what is a pulinya?
Pulinya?
And it's not something you do with a loose tooth.
And it's not a type of food. Ugh, good thing they don't have that dish here in Iqaluit.
You know what? I think I know the answer to this one.
And it's not what Jamie thinks it is, so stick around for the answer.
Are you sure I'm not thinking the right answer?
I'm quite sure.
We headed to Iqaluit's Inuksuq High School to learn some traditional Inuit games.
That was amazing! This is Luke and this is Jesse, and they are athletes of the Inuit Games. The 1-foot high kick. How did you do that?
You gotta jump with 2 feet, kick with your right foot, and land with your right foot.
Kick and then land on the same foot?
Yes.
That's amazing.
So can you tell us some of the history involved in the Inuit Games?
The history in the Inuit Games is it was a form of competition. It still is now. They did this kind of stuff when they had gatherings. Whoever can kick the highest, that would be his fame.
And so it also involves skills that you would use in hunting or similar skills that you use in the games, correct?
Yes, all the skills you need in Inuit games, like the power, speed, and strength, it's the same skills you need in hunting.
So what's the name of this game?
This game's called leg wrestling.
What is the object of the game?
The object of the game is you swing 3 times. After the third one, you hook on to his leg, to his right leg, with my right leg, and I gotta flip him over to beat him.
Okay, so because Luke was flipped over, he lost.
Yep.
So whoever gets flipped over in the game is the one that loses. Whoever remains in the same position wins.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's see it for real. Come on, Jesse. Do it for the girls. Do it for the girls.
2, 3.
Hero of the Inuit Games!
Winning for the girls.
This game is it's called arm pull. We're gonna both pull at the same time. I gotta try to straighten your arm, or either pull you back without bending my arm. And if I can pull you back without straightening my arm, I win.
Okay, so the object of the game is to straighten the other person's arm without straightening your own.
Yeah, or pull them back.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Go.
Ow.
Yeah, okay, definitely lower. Definitely lower. Oh.
Very nice. Just a little bit lower. Just a little bit lower. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Nice work. That's why you need to stretch.
That was totally real. I totally fell. Ow.
What are you doing?
I'm pulling your leg. Get it?
Oh.
Pulling your leg.
What Jen is trying to do in the lamest way is remind us of the triviography question, what is Polinia?
Lame? I thought that was pretty clever.
Over to you, Jay. What is Polinia?
A polynya. Basically, a polynya is an area of open ocean water that doesn't freeze in the winter, while all the surrounding water is ice covered. No one is sure why this strange phenomenon occurs. One of the theories is that when a polynya starts to freeze and produce ice, wind or ocean currents come right along and take it away. Most polynyas can stay unfrozen all winter and give seals and birds an opportunity to hunt fish. Polynya is a Russian term meaning an oasis in a frozen ocean. The largest Arctic polynya is called the North Water Polynya and is located north of Baffin Island. It can grow to be the size of Lake Superior. It seems that everything in Nunavut is huge.
We are way out on the Arctic tundra at the end of a road that's actually called the Road to Nowhere. Now we're gonna talk about life living out here in this cold wind where there's no trees and the only thing that really grows is like little pieces of moss and grasses and a few other things. How would you survive? Well, we have a friend here that's gonna tell us how important the animals were to surviving out here in the tundra.
This is Johnny Nowluck, and he is a wildlife officer for the Nunavut Wildlife Service. So Johnny, what kind of animals can you find out here, right outside of Iqaluit?
You can find caribou, depending on what time of year it is. You can find Arctic fox, Arctic hare. You can find all kinds of things out here. One of my jobs is to make sure that these animals are around for the future. And the way I grew up, I want to teach my kids that as well. And the animals that were there when I was a kid, I want them to be there for him when he grows up too.
So Johnny, what kind of hide is this?
This is a caribou hide. This would be used on in two ways, like the inside garment. You could also use it on the outside with the hair out. But that's how they were used.
What do you think makes it so warm?
It's the hairs are hollow on the inside, so it holds air.
Wow.
Once you put something warm to it, it'll hold that heat very, very well.
Now, what is this giant fur here?
That's muskox, and that was caught up in Grease Fjord.
Yeah?
Huge. This doesn't even come down this far south.
It is so heavy.
Yeah.
This is just the skin. I can't imagine how heavy the animal itself is.
Yeah, this would be warm.
Oh, Johnny, thank you so much for bringing this blanket. I am freezing. This is the nicest polar bear that I've ever seen.
And I guess the polar bears would be busy hunting these.
Yes, they would. These is big part of their diet is the seal. We do get different kinds of seals up here, but that's the main seal we get up here is the ring seal.
Yep. And what would you use seal skin for?
Seal skins can be used for winter pants. I've seen people with sealskin parkas. Any people still eat them.
So nothing is wasted.
Nothing is wasted on
Once
animals.
again.
Thank you so much. This has been really amazing. Like, we have learned how much respect you have to have for the animals because they are so necessary.
Yes, it's not just the animals, it's the weather as well, too.
You have to respect the weather. And speaking of which, we should go inside out of respect for the weather because right now, I don't think the weather respects me very much.
It's cold today, but not as chilly as it's supposed to get. The weather report said it's going to get to minus 10 degrees in a couple of days, but that the wind chill will be minus 20 degrees. Yikes, Canada can have some pretty extreme weather. In fact, the coldest wind chill ever recorded was in 1975 in the Northwest Territories. The 56-kilometer-an-hour winds made the minus 51 degrees Celsius feel like minus 92. Wind chill is a term used to describe the cooling feeling that comes from both temperature and wind working together. It really refers to what cold weather feels like, but not to what it actually is like. If the temperature is minus 10 degrees outside, then the wind has to be blowing at 30 kilometers an hour for us to feel the wind chill of minus 20. Calculating wind chill is pretty important when you're living up in Canada's north. You don't want to step outside and be surprised by an incredible wind chill. Let's see what we can learn about staying warm in cold weather. By blowing cool air on my hot chocolate, I can eventually cool it down to the same temperature as the air around me. But no matter how hard I blow, I can't make this hot chocolate colder than the air temperature itself. I've taped a thermometer to both sides of this styrofoam, but I'm only going to put one towards the fan and keep the other sheltered. So let's see what happens. The temperature remains the same on both sides at 23 degrees Celsius. Now what happens if I put my hands where the thermometers are? My hand near the wind from the fan feels much colder than my sheltered hand. That's because, although my body warms up a thin layer of air close to my skin to help insulate me, the wind is blowing this protective layer away. If you're an animal living in Nunavut, seeking shelter isn't always possible. So most Arctic animals have adapted to the cold. One way is by having short legs, ears, and noses. The smaller these parts are, the less quickly heat can escape. I have the fingers of one of these rubber gloves tied off with elastics, making it shorter like an animal's ears. Then I'm going to pour this 20 degrees Celsius water into both of the gloves. I'll put these in the fridge for a while to see what happens. My full glove cooled down to 8 degrees Celsius, but the one with the fingers tied off has actually stayed warmer at 15 degrees Celsius.
Not only do most animals have smaller ears, but they also have relatively larger bodies that will keep heat longer. Let's check out what happens when they get cold.
Now I'm going to put these in the fridge. Which do you think is colder now? If you guessed the smaller boot, you're right. It's 17 degrees, but the larger one is 20 degrees Celsius.
In Nunavut, there's a fly who actually takes shelter up inside a caribou's nose to lay eggs so they stay warm in the winter. He doesn't sneeze the babies out until spring. Now that's what I call babysitting.
A fantastic fact about Nunavut is that it's full of islands, from massive Ellesmere Island in the north to Charlton Island in southern James Bay. Nunavut has 3 of the 10 biggest islands in the world. It also has 12 out of the 20 largest islands in Canada. How many islands are there in Nunavut, do you ask? There are more than 36,000. That's a lot of islands.
Oh, there's a cab.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to find a traditional way to get to the airport?
No, Jen, this is the New North. We're taking a cab.
Oh, see, that's too bad, because look right over there.
Oh, you think those would bring us to the airport?
I don't think so.
Why?
Well, for one thing, they're sleeping. And another thing, I don't think the airport has a parking lot.
That is the worst joke in the history of Nunavut.
Come on, you just didn't get it.
Get me!
You know what I mean? Because it's like a parking lot. Because they're dogs and they bark.